We're having 6.7 as our bicep, then plus 2 inch, that is 8.7. Then you mark down 8.7 from your top line. You mark down 8.7 from your top line. Then you connect the two lines together. Now, after you've done this, then you measure from this your 5.7 here. From this your 5.7 here. If you turn the tape downward, you know, like this is 5.7. So from this same point, you pin it down, you turn it straight, it will become 5.2. So since we are having 5.2, you transfer it downward like this, then you rule your line, connecting them together. So now we are trying to get the armhole of the suit. Now from this point, with the look of things, this measurement is a bit smaller measurement, so I'm marking 1.7 for it. For average size, you mark 2 inches, but for this one, since the chest is not that big, I'm marking out 1.7. So we mark 1.7 from here, then 2 inch downward. So from your 1.7, you connect it to your 5.7 points on the shoulder. Then from this place, you on this line, you drop or you mark out your shoulder plus 0.2, that is 8.2. From this point, you mark out your shoulder, which is 8 plus 0.2 inch. So now from this point, you mark ½ inch inward and ½ inch outward, like this. That means we are having a 3-point mark there. So on this point, we take up 1 inch, which is also constant, like this, on the 3 spots. Now these 2 inches we marked will go to this point. This 1.5 will go to your 2. Then from this point, you can now, with a 0.2 inward, like this. Now this is the shape of your armhole on the front part. Then for we to connect this back, this last point is what we are going to use in connecting the back, like this. And remember, all the shapes in human figure are not straight, therefore we can as well take this one in a little with 0.2 as well, just to create a little curve on that part. Now this is how we're able to achieve the armhole on the body. Now let's finish up the neck part. Now remember, on the collar video we did, the collar stand is 1.2 inch, in which we seamed 0.2 from both sides, and we are left with 0.7. Now you mark out your 0.7 from here. This is where we connect it down to the lapel. Now we move down to the waist point. Now you can mark out your waist point from the down part, like this. This is our waist point. Now from this waist point, you will take in 1 inch from the back. Now when you check the human figure on your spinal cord at the back, you will get to discover there's a little hole from the back. So now this 1 inch we are taking in will be cut off just to make sure a shape is given on the back. So now from this your 1 inch, you take it downward like this, then you can now take it up like this, not up to your neck point, but it should go above your chest line. So now this is how the back will look like. Then for we to create the vent on the back, you measure 9 inches like this. Then the size of the vent should be 1.5 inches. So now we connect it together like this. Now this is where the vent will be from. Now we've gotten our neck and our armhole. Now we move down to the waist point. Now for we to get the waist point, we are going to divide our waist, which is 31. This is our waist, 31. We are going to divide it by 6. And now if you are to divide 31 by 6, we are having 5.1. We are having 5.1. So now we mark our 5 points. We approximate it to 5.2. So you mark our 5.2, then we leave our ½ inch seaming allowance. Now this is where the point is. Then we connect it to the middle point of the arm line. Remember, we don't need ruler to roll this place. We only need a curve, a French curve, so it can contour the shape the way it's supposed to. Using a French curve at least will give it a better curve, so it will take off the little excess on it. So now coming for the down part, our shoulder is 16, divide by 2, which is 8, then you minus 1 inch, which is 7. For we to get this down part, you divide your shoulder by 2 minus 1, which is 7. So from your marked 7 points, you take it up to your waistline and roll it together. Now we are done with the back part. This is the neck, the slant, the armhole, the chest line, the waistline, then down to the hip region. Now that's all we need for the back. Now we come to the front part. Now after we are done getting what we need at the back, we are now to the front. From this our 0.7 inch on the neck region, we rule a line down to our waistline. Now on this point, you will get to know how many buttons you are making. If it's a single button, then it falls on the waistline. If it's a 2 button suit, then 2.5 inch up, 2 inch down. So now this your point will stop from the first button. Now we are dealing with just 1 button, which you can see I've ruled it downward to my waist point. So now, since we have a point here, We now take in 0.7, that is the collar point, 0.7. Then now after you've ruled your line, so now at this point where your neck depth and your lapel, now on this particular place like this is where the lapel is. Now it's for you to alter the lapel if you want it big or small. If you want it small, you can reduce it like this.